Good afternoon from the East Coast, and good morning to anybody on the West Coast, and anyone else that's watching internationally. We appreciate you being here. My name is Jared. I'm one of the team members at Podcast Movement, and today we're talking about dynamic ad insertion 101. This is Scott St. Pierre that's joining me. He's with monetizemyshow.com. And Scott, we really appreciate you catching us up to speed on this topic. And that being said, I know you got some slides that are going to share a little bit about your backstory and what's going on and catch people up that may not be familiar with you and what you're doing. So
Absolutely.
we'll just dive right in. We really appreciate you being here.
Yeah, thanks, Jared. I really appreciate the opportunity to share some of what we've been learning in this area. Podcast Movement, of course, as you know, has been dear to my heart since the day you started. The first GoFundMe and the first event in Dallas way back when, and pretty much every year since. It's a great opportunity to learn, and all the things that you're doing are wonderful. So my name is Scott St. Pierre, and I'm just going to let you know sort of how did I get into this. I've been involved in podcasting for 10 years now. So what basically I like to start off with, though, is a little bit of a confession, and that's that I love the show Big Brother. And I love it so much that I was looking for people out on the internet that were talk about the strategy behind it, the live feeds. I was all into that, and as I was looking for people talking about the strategy, I ran across this guy. His name's Evil Dick. He won the show, and he had a podcast or a bit of a web show. And the thing is, though, it was always about him and what he would do if he was on the show that year, and how they wouldn't get away with that if he was on the show that year. But he mentioned the name of this guy, Rob Sestrino, who had a podcast and was making some very intelligent comments on sort of the strategy behind the show. So basically, I reached out to Rob because he was looking for help with WordPress, because he was just getting the show off the ground, and mentioned that he was looking for some help with WordPress. And I'm a teacher by trade, and I said, well, I teach people to use WordPress, so I could probably help you. So I started helping him with that. And then he was looking for help with social media, and I reached out again and said, well, actually, I teach students here in Canada about social media, and so I could probably help with that too. And we started meeting, and we started talking about interests that we had that were in common, and one was what truly motivates people. And these are books I have on the screen now that that we were reading at work, and so I would suggest these books to him, and then he would listen to them on Audible. And of course, we're going to talk about this in a second, but one of the first quick ways to start monetizing your show is through affiliate links. And so we had an affiliate link with Audible, and then on his shows he would start recommending the books that I was recommending to him, and then he'd email me back and say, hey, in our book club of 2, what's the next book I should listen to, and things like that. But a little did I know, though, it took me a while to learn, actually, that this guy that I was like hanging out with online was Rob Sestrino of Survivor fame. And he's been on Survivor twice, finished third in Amazon, and was also on All Stars. But he's not this Rob. Of course, everyone goes, oh, you mean Boston Rob? No, he's not this Rob. But even though that Rob was number 1 on the all-time cast list, mine was number 3. A little humble brag there. So anyhow, so about 10 years ago this summer, I started doing some production work for Rob, and it just sort of got more and more involved as time went on. And then he asked me to be partners with him, and we started reality TV wrap-ups, which is where we host other people's shows who are talking about, so Friends of Rob is a podcast, we call it, who are talk about reality television shows. So we've over the years, though, we've really been trying to diversify our hosts, people that host shows for us, and so now this is just a sample of all the people that do shows on our independent network. All right, enough about me. Let's talk about what you're here to hear about today. So first of all, I'd like to start off with talking about the types of monetization. And basically there's live ad reads, which some people feel is like the holy grail that you want to get to. Then there's dynamic ad insertion. There's sponsorships, crowdfunding, and affiliate links. So live ad reads is when you have an ad rep who gives you copy and you get paid an X amount of dollars, and you read the copy that is given to you. Sometimes it has to be approved by the company, that type of thing. But it's more live with testimonials and that type of thing, or somehow embedded into your show. Dynamic ad insertion is what we're going to talk the most about today, which is where you just put markers into your show on the system that you host it on, and then any ads that happen to get sold for your show will just show up. You don't have to do any of the reading or that type of thing. Worry about the copy, that type of stuff. Sponsorships would be, this show is presented by, so it's sort of just a higher level. Maybe might include live ad reads as well, but if you have like a show that wants to be like the title sponsor of your show or of a series on your network, that type of thing. Crowdfunding is something like Patreon would be an example of crowdfunding, where people pay money and then you often will provide them with perks. And then, like I mentioned before, affiliate links are where companies will provide you with a link, and if the listenership uses your link, then you get a kickback on what gets sold on their site. So those are the basic types of monetization. So what is a dynamic ad insertion, though? Like I mentioned before, what you do is you place markers in your show, and I'll have a few slides to show you what it looks like, where the ads would go. And then if an ad is sold for your show by the system, it shows up and plays in that spot. And often they're sold regionally. So where, up here in Canada, I might not hear an ad right away, but someone in New York City would hear an ad possibly, or I'll hear an ad about a local car dealership, and some other location will hear something about a restaurant in their area, that type of thing. So the people who are selling these ads can sell regions, and so it's a bit more specific for the advertiser, so that they can actually pinpoint where they want their ads to go. And we've all heard the ads with Casper mattress and things like that, which are sold worldwide. But if you are a potential advertiser that is local, then this is an opportunity for them to also buy ads in this space. Now, people think that live ad reads are the holy grail, but the reality is these days that if you want to work with an ad rep, they want you to have a minimum of 20,000 downloads per episode these days, and you're waiting for the ad copy from the ad rep or the advertiser. You have to make personal endorsements, whether you believe in the product or not. You need to meet those ad copy expectations. They're like a minute to sometimes 5 minutes long. Some of the ads that I hear being read are really quite long. And then there's always the make goods you have to do. So even though you might, before you get paid, they'll say, oh, no, actually, you said this and we said you can't say that, or you said it the wrong way, or, oh, your downloads just weren't enough, so you need to do it again for us for free on another episode. So there's a lot of extra expectations around those live ad reads. The dynamic ad insertion option, though, no minimums, sort of. There's no interaction with ad reps and advertisers at all. You don't have to make any personal endorsements. You don't have to spend any time recording the ads. They're generally 30 seconds long only. And you don't have to do any make goods because the ad copy's already been approved by other people. So DAI, dynamic ad insertion, it's kind of like YouTube ads, if you've seen how that works, where you put the markers into your YouTube video and then ads just play or pop up at those spots. You can actually use dynamic ad insertion systems to serve your live ad reads too, but we'll save that information for DAI 201. So with the dynamic ad insertion, this is our back end of our host. And once we've put in our information, like the episode title and the episode summary, and we've We've also uploaded the audio. We then press Ad Locator. And then once you're in the Ad Locator screen, you'll see your audio in front of you. A lot of arrows here. So let me just slow down here and point out what I have going on here. So the purple arrows, you would press pre-roll, and that's where your pre-rolls would get posted. And you can see it says 2 times. So what I've done is I've pressed the plus button on that and made it so that there would be 2 ads potentially at the most that will play before the show starts. So 2 30-second ads, so 1 minute, which is not really long compared to some live ad reads. The post roll, the same thing. The yellow arrow here, I press post roll, and then here at the end, you see that that I've put it up to 3 times for the post rolls. Actually, we'll do 4 times now. We feel that if a person is going to go all the way to the end, that they don't care, or they're actually not even listening anymore, so that they will. So it will be no big deal for them to have a whole bunch of ads play at the end of the show. The mid rolls, kind of the cool part here. We have 2 spots usually that we do. We'll like our shows generally are like an hour and 20 minutes, hour 15 minutes long. So we'll find a couple spots. We'll ask our host to provide us with a couple of logical spots in the show that we'll put our ads in. And then what I do then is I put in, you can see that there's this little trail of audio that's actually a swoosh sound. So we have a longer swoosh out from where the end of a topic is in the conversation. And then I put the marker in, and then we have a more condensed swoosh sound coming back into the show. I'll put often 3 digital ads there, and then 2 more later on in a similar type of looking location, 20 minutes, half hour apart from each other. So they're not totally on top of each other. But yeah, so basically 3 ads would be, and 1.5 minutes of audio. So it's not really long for the listener, and it just sort of increases the amount of monetization. So in this case, this example has 10 ad locations potentially. We sell usually our people sell about 60% of the time of that. So 6 of those 10 will get filled. And actually what we've done is we've created a situation where we have a secondary company that will sell off anything that's left over that the first company doesn't sell. And they usually sell 60% as well. So 6 out of 10 will get sold. And then another 2, 3 will get sold off of the leftovers. And so we'll get 80% sell through. Of course, the first set are at a much higher CPM than the second. CPM stands for cost per million, but the cost is, of course, to the advertiser in this case, and it cost per thousand. Sorry, not million. M would make more sense to be million, but in some ways. But the Roman numerals, the M stands for 1,000, so that's where that comes from. So CPM. So for every 1,000 downloads, there's a fee that gets paid, and we'll get 8 times that as opposed to 1 if say we only had 1 live ad read in a show. So works out quite well for us that way too, I think. All right. I mean, really, honestly, that is dynamic ad insertions in a nutshell. And here's my contact information. Happy to talk to anyone about it. What Rob and I are doing now is beyond our Rob as a podcast and reality TV wrap-ups work. We've launched the opportunity to work with people to help monetize their shows. So if you're like a mid-range show, like say 5,000 downloads, let's help you out and get you going in more monetization. Where like I said, in the live ad space, we do need like advertisers or ad reps are looking for 20,000 downloads per episode. but we can help you out quite easily, like in a quarter of that, to be able to monetize the same way that we're monetizing our shows and all those hosts that I showed you earlier. All right.
Scott, thanks for that. Really appreciate that overview, and definitely enjoy hearing your story about how you met
I met Rob,
how you met everybody. Yeah,
Yeah.
I must confess I'm a Survivor nerd.
Yes.
And I have watched Big Brother. I haven't quite got into it as much as Survivor, but
Yeah, I'm
that's
probably
really awesome.
more of a Survivor guy now, probably because of Rob's influence over the last 10 years. But yeah,
Understandable.
definitely,
Yep.
definitely. But
Yeah, my wife
sure.
and I, we never miss an episode of Survivor. So for you mentioned that your network. So how have you determined what shows you've included in your network?
In like reality TV wrap-ups,
Correct. Yeah.
in reality, what happens is a lot of all of the hosts are previous listeners and continue to be listeners and part of our community. So we really we emphasize community over everything. So we've built so people will then pitch ideas to us on what they on something that they might want to host, and then we'll sit down and talk to them. And a lot of these hosts, we've already kind of vetted them. We know they're good hosts. We believe in the hosts. It's a matter of finding an appropriate vehicle to be on the network. So because we'll have them on as guests on established shows and then they'll hone sort of their skills that way and show that they would be able to handle being hosts of shows. And then they pitch ideas to us. So but it started out with for example, I watch The Bachelor. Okay, I totally admit it. But
No shame in
Rob
that.
does.
Yes.
Yeah, Rob does. Like, and I'm, by the way, I forgot to mention it off the top, as you probably could tell already. I'm not a front of the camera guy. I'm behind the scenes guy. So it's not. So I wouldn't be hosting anything. But we had some people who said, we really want to hear about The Bachelor, and Rob doesn't watch The Bachelor. He doesn't care about The Bachelor. He doesn't want to, start watching The Bachelor. So we gave these two women that approached us we carved a space in the corner of the website on Rob as a podcast and started letting them have a show. And it turned out they actually they got quite a following going. And so that was the beginning. And then, we had a couple people came to us and said, we really love the challenge. We'd like to talk about the challenge. And so we went to the challenge. And then we had people say, RuPaul's Drag Race is the greatest show. And it does win Emmys a lot. And so we said, okay, sure. And then people wanted to do Big Brother's a big show. Rob covers that, but Big Brother Canada is really popular as well, even with American viewers. They find ways to watch it, and so we provide that additional content in that area too by having a host who takes care of Big Brother Canada. So it's just a matter of what makes sense in terms of what our audience wants to hear, what our community is into and getting into.
That's awesome. So congrats on that. And then how new is monetizemyshow.com?
Like weeks.
Oh, really?
So
we're just a new launch. Okay.
Yeah, we're just getting things going. We made our website. We've talked about how we want to help people. Basically, if you did decide to come work with us, and talking's free, it's no problem. Like we can, it's no commitment. So anyone who wants to chat about it, that's great. But yeah, monetize my show. If you did come our way, you wouldn't be branded as Robin's podcast, reality TV wrap ups. You still keep your independence. 100%. We've tested, but what we've done over the past year is we've tested it with shows from friends who had some smaller shows, and we said, hey, why don't you come with us and we'll see what happens here, and work through some of the kinks too. So we were able to iron out a few things with our friends, so that we know that moving forward that we know exactly what we can do to be most successful to help out some people.
I love it. Well, congrats on that. I hope people
Thanks.
will check out monetizemyshow.com. Certainly consider checking out Rob as a podcast. I'm a fan of Survivor, so obviously I have a lot of appreciation for Rob. And Rob's actually spoken at Podcast Movement back in the day, and we're hoping we can get him back there soon. And just really appreciate both you guys and how you've been supportive of us over the years. So thank you.
Yeah, Rob's even had me up on the stage with him to talk. Little did you guys know, but yeah. So yeah, then hi. I mean, people that are listening to this are already podcast movement fans, but and believers. But so I just like to continue to reemphasize though that you made the right choice. Those of you who are listening to this, because podcast movement's been it's just been a great experience every time that I've gone. That's for sure.
Cool. And you have this on screen, but we'll just go over it real quick. For those that want to connect with you online, where we mentioned monetizemyshow.com, we're mention the social channels there.
For sure. Pretty much every social channel I'm at Scott STP. So SCOTT STP. You can email me at scott@monetizemyshow.com. You can make an appointment on calendly.com/monetizemyshow. And like we said, the website is monetizemyshow.com. Feel free to reach out in any format that works for you.
Excellent. Well, I really appreciate this, Scott, and hopefully we can set up 201 down the road here.
Absolutely. Sounds
all right, everybody, have a great day, and definitely shoot Scott a message and say thank you for his kindness to share with us today. And I hope everybody's able to monetize their shows. Thanks again, Scott.
Thanks, Jared.
Cheers.